Hey, welcome back, everybody. Adobe Presto here. And in the last video, I was talking about how to use layer adjustments for fixing your photos. And so I talked you through how to get rid of the blue color cast on these oatmeal cookies and also how to deepen the color and contrast with levels, because levels almost always fixes problematic photos and whatnot. So what I want to do though is show you how you can use layer adjustments for doing different types of special effects and stuff. So it's not only for fixing and doing any sort of adjustments, but for adjustments for the sake of making cool photos and just doing different things. So I have this picture here of this girl I got off the internet. I can't remember the website it was, but I think I just searched on Google for girl's eyes or woman's eyes or something like that. So I got a close up of this. And this is a really cool one I do with my high school students. And what it is basically, you can see I have my layer adjustment here with a mask attached, but I'm going to throw that away for a second and walk you through how to do that, because there's a little bit of masking involved. I have a separate video for that you can watch on doing some masking basics, but this is going to be part two. Again, we're working with layer adjustments. That's this little icon down here at the bottom of the layer palette. And what we want to do first, we could go in, for example, to layer adjustments and choose hue saturation, which is one that I enjoy using often in my designs and when I'm doing any kind of photography stuff. And when it applies it to it, you're not going to see anything change until you start to kind of move around these sliders. So what it does, what these layer adjustments do, is it adds a layer mask to it, which is kind of nice because we can isolate different parts of the picture. And when you watch the layer masking video, or you understand layer masks, masking is a great part to sort of work on particular parts of the picture without the changes happening indiscriminately across the whole entire surface of your photos. So, for example, in my last one, I fixed the picture globally, but let's say the foreground looked good on your picture, but the background looked terrible. Layer masks are a great way to kind of isolate that and say, ignore this part, but fix the others. So for this one, then, we're going to do special effects, and we're going to isolate the irises of her eyes so that we can change what they look like in terms of the colors. So once I apply hue saturation, you'll see the layer mask there. And if I drop the saturation down, for example, you'll see the picture become black and white. And if I go really crazy, it becomes super saturated. And so I don't want that to do this globally to the picture. You also have hue, which just stands for color, of course. And if I adjust that, it's going to change the colors globally across the whole entire image. And we only want to do this to the irises. So just get your quick select tool. I'm going to do a whole video on quick select tools, or if you haven't watched that video, because at this point I don't have it, but it will be coming up, so look for that one. I'm going to grab my quick select tool and quickly highlight her irises, a little bit of her eyelash there, that's fine. And I'm going to make my brush a little bit bigger with the bracket keys, and I'm going to just click in that area, and then I can alt click off of the eyelashes there so it doesn't select that part. But at any rate, I've got pretty much most of the irises selected. Once I get those isolated, I can go in and mask this now. So what you want to do is make the selections before you apply the layer adjustment. So I'm going to toss this layer adjustment in the trash. And now that I have my selections, I'm going to go ahead and hit layer adjustments and choose hue saturation again. And this time, you'll notice that the mask actually has the black and white added to it. So you'll when you watch my masking video, we talk about what black and white does, and black conceals, white reveals, etc. So you can see these two little tiny holes here are the irises showing through. So whatever changes we make to this, it's going to make it to those irises only. So now I can go in and adjust this and actually change the color of her eyes to blue from hazel. I can go back the other way and change it to a green color. And you can have a lot of fun, because if you have a picture of your own eyes, you can see what you look like. If you're brown-eyed, you can see what you look like with blue eyes, etc. So this is a really fun one to just practice both masking and doing layer adjustments. And you'll see here, there's my mask, there's my black and white. And yeah, so you could do a ton of different types of special effects under this. I just covered hue and saturation, but I encourage you with that little bit of know-how on working with layer adjustments to go in here and just experiment with some of these and see what kind of things you can get, because you can have multiple layer adjustments. You can also clip the layer adjustment to the layer below it simply by clicking Alt. holding down Alt and then clicking between the two layers, and it will clip it to the layer below it, so it just isolates that particular adjustment to the layer below it. So that's it with this video on layer adjustments and doing special effects. Again, experiment, and we'll see you back on the